Okay, so this is quite a heartwarming episode for me, episode 20, because I am reaching out to a really dear friend in Malaysia. And this is one of my first girlfriends in Malaysia that I'm really, really missing. I miss you so much, Lisbeth. So we've got Lisbeth Helms, and I have invited Lisbeth to come on the podcast because part of the reason I actually got into the podcast was to interview women that also inspire me. Like I look up to, there's women that have gone ahead of me, either in the fitness industry or in life, or just there's sort of a generation age gap, which I can still relate to. And I really look to these women to sort of help me navigate this next stage of my life. And Elizabeth, you are that person to me.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I mean, of, you inspired me too when you were here, and I miss you so much. I met y'all like dancing together and at the bar, and
Oh, no.
and all that. And just to see, I think that was what I really enjoyed when I first joined the gym that you were teaching in Fire Station. It was like, whoa, here is a mature adult woman, and look at her, she's still rocking it, she's making these classes fun. And for me there was like a place to belong, and I think we immediately connected on that we might not be 20 or 30, or but who cares, here we are sweating it out, having fun. And because we are older, a little bit older, we actually also know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Run it for quite a few years, and yeah, so I think that was when I first met you, and I was on that bike in the corner, uh, a bike that
Yeah,
you,
your bike that no one else is allowed to go on Monday and Thursday. That's your bike. And if anyone rocked into the room and they went straight to your bike, I was like, oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, no, no, no. We were two of us, and my dear friend Lisa. We were
And
two of us
Lisa,
sitting
yeah.
sitting there and wanting that bike. And that was actually my first time doing ride classes. I've never been on a bike. I'm a dancer and aerobics and all that fun stuff. And
Yeah.
then there you were, and I really admired you. I mean, your classes were the best classes, hands down. So I was there every week, and we started talking,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'm just going to rotate back a little bit because you say that you kind of met me at the fire station, but I actually knew you
oh,
from Kiara International because you would walk around the school and I was like, oh my gosh, that woman is fabulous. And we never really got to know each other back then because our kids, there was a bit of an age gap between
yeah,
our kids. Our girls maybe 3-4 years age difference,
yeah.
and so we never really kind of crossed paths at school. But I used to see you and I was like, oh wow, she looks amazing, like she's so fit and I'd like to get to know her. So when you actually came to my class, I already knew who you were. You were like, that's that woman. I manifested my desire to get to know her. And then you walk in and look, to be honest, I am one of these people that doesn't instantly go to an age with someone. Like I don't look at them or look at their faces or bodies and sum up and go, oh, I'm thinking that they're about 30, 40, 50 or whatever. I don't do that. I kind of wait until I sit in a conversation. And then when I realize that I'm learning a lot from the conversation, I go, okay, they're older than me, like generally, especially when it comes to life stuff.
Right.
But now I have never asked you the question, but like, how old are you? Is
Yeah,
that allowed?
you know that I am over 50,
Yeah.
because I think when that was around your time and all that. So I am 58, just in a minute.
I was just about to swear, and I remembered I'm just trying not to swear so much because I do kind of do that a bit in the podcast. But holy moly, girl, you're looking fine.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a number, and
Yeah.
it's such a cliche. There's a lot of cliches out there about all these things, but it is a number, and I think in the same with you. Up here, I'm not 50.
What? Yeah. Right.
Yes, and
We're
here,
those girls that put on a great dance song and we instantly break out dancing. Like
exactly.
there's
And,
like nothing within us that holds us back. It's like in the DNA and the
yeah,
mitochondria. I got to do this. I got to move. This
yeah.
song is so good. And also for us, a lot of the times, good music is sometimes a remix from
Oh,
from
that
way back, right? that we used to teach to some
Yeah.
great aerobics class, and then it comes back as a remix, and it's a banging remix, but you and I know the original. Yeah.
And that's what made me also so happy in your ride classes. It's just like, yeah, here comes that song. Well, you guys over there, you might not know it, but we know. And then we get, to sing along, and you put on the music, and anyway, we don't care. We just start dancing. Music makes me so happy. And and just that just allowing yourself to be who you are, and what no limits in there. It's like, yeah, you might have a number on it, but if you're able to do it, or just go for it, and have fun with it. And then I think it comes, like you say, it comes from the heart, and it's maybe it's within you, or maybe I'm still childish because I was
I asked myself the same thing. Am I still a child?
yeah.
It's one of the keys to sort of staying well, is
Oh,
just to always kind of embrace that childlike attitude. It's not an immature attitude, because, when you need to step up and be the parent and be the mom and be the wife and be the friend, you can, embrace all of that, but always having that kind of childlike attitude to new, unexplored, untapped environments is really cool. I think it's a positive thing to be around, right?
absolutely. It's vital. I think being positive is vital. Yeah.
Well, you're definitely that to me. I mean, I gravitated towards you, as we started to kind of connect after the ride classes, and then I got to know a little bit more about your story, and you have quite a story. And I think we're like railway lines. We have a similar background. We both started teaching fitness classes from a really young age as students, and we are like some of those foundation aerobics instructors, right?
Yeah.
Now it's called group fitness or group X. It's been called that for a long time, but we were aerobics instructors, and back in the day that was like one of the best jobs you could have.
It was, I mean, I'm looking back, and this was in the late 80s, into the 90s. And I was, like you said, I was actually studying at university. And that was when I started. I was doing jazz dance, and then this aerobics came on, and I was absolutely captivated. I thought it was so much fun. It was a lot of hard work, and it was totally different from the dancing, which was sort of interesting in a way, intriguing. And then I went into that, and I immediately, in Denmark, I'm Danish, by the way, so excuse me for my language. This English is my second language, by the way, so I'm doing my best. And we had that wave, the aerobics wave, and they came from the US, they came from Los Angeles, and they had these workshops, and I just loved it. That was my life. And the music, and remember, we had to put together our own playlist. Oh my God, with the tapes, and it was all the way back then. And it wasn't that easy, but it was a lot of fun. Working every day, I taught classes, 2 classes, and it was all that. And I did that for a long time. And we were not that many. We talked about that, Tracy. We were like just a few of us in the biggest studio that just opened. Ours was in Copenhagen, and I think we were 10 or 11 aerobics instructors that started the whole wave. And we had to work our butts off because it became such a hit very, very quickly. And that was a big part of my life. I was studying in the dentistry industry, and I was gonna work at a private clinic, and all that came later. So I combined the 2 jobs, but I held on to my dear aerobics. That was it, until one day when I decided I got a little tired of listening to my own voice. I like hearing myself, go, come on. And I was like, I think I'll take a break. And that's when I took a break from it. And I never went into a room. I never did any classes. I started playing tennis, and I wanted, to be a good tennis player. And I started competing in tennis, and I did that for many, many years until I met you.
And then we took that journey back to the aerobics studio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but before we met, you actually had quite a life-changing experience. Was that maybe in your late 40s? Sorry, I haven't got a sort of a date range as to when things shifted for you. And I think it's quite a big experience that also changes a lot about how you feel about longevity, your personal wellness, and what it means to be sexy in this day and age. So if you're happy to share that story, because it means a lot to me, your story, because when we were at FIRE, we actually did quite a lot of charity rides and support classes in support of Breast Cancer Foundation. We did have some clients that were going through breast cancer and other types of cancer at the time. And we were able to tap into a lot of stories, and of course yours was one of them. So yeah, if you're happy to share, that would be awesome.
Yes, I was actually I was 52 at the time, and I got diagnosed with breast cancer. I had no clue. I was in that stage in my life. I was 52. I was feeling really, really fit. I was doing exactly what I always did, fitness-wise. I could run. I could do everything I wanted. I was living a healthy life. I've always been healthy. I've been vegetarian for, I mean, God knows, like 25 years. Not a big drinker, not a smoker. Yeah, there was no reason, except I started feeling a little bit tired. Tired in the sense that, but I thought it was mostly in my head. And I connected it with my son, my oldest son, leaving home. So he was going to leave for college. And you know, as an expatriate, it's not like your first child moves down the street or to a different city within your country. This is like 10,000 kilometers away. As an expatriate, we send our kids far, far away from where we are. And it hit me. And I was going through that phase. I was very sad, and I connected those things sort of. And also, I did not have a clue about menopause. I was not thinking about it. It sounds ridiculous, but you're 52 and you're just running around and you're doing your things, and menopause was not a thing on my mind. And I had regular periods, so there were no signs of that. But I felt tired, and I thought it's not good. I was crying also quite a lot, and I didn't know what was going on. Definitely not menopausal signs. I thought, okay, let me get a checkup, because my age, I might need some vitamins. There is some nutritional wise, maybe, you know, I am vegetarian and I have to look into things. And at that time I was starting gravitating towards plant-based more as well. So I go for a normal checkup. I just go for a regular checkup. I said to my doctor, yeah, I think we need to look into my bloods, and I just, everything's okay. And with that comes a mammography, and I went to do that as well. And then they call me and they say, we want you to come back to do a ultrasound, because you know, some things we can't see on the mammograph, or we want to check further. And I was like, well, yeah, I've done that before. And then it starts getting quiet in there, and it starts getting, you know, the sound of click of the buttons, they freeze pictures. And I was, what? And I think they then send you through extra tests, and you got told you go to biopsy, and you do, and still it started slowly and creeping in. But the question on my mind was like, why, what, why does this happen? And eventually, when I got the message, what it was, and it was breast cancer, and I had luckily, I discovered it early. We discovered it early because I went and got a checkup. Ladies, please remember to do that. And I got and I got unfortunately, it was in the milk ducts, and it was sort of scattered all over, and they told me I had to remove my breast, and I was like, what, the whole breast? I thought you take out a lump, and I realized that this was a thing, and the pattern would probably show up in the other side. So I thought about it for a second. Your mind is not present, and you're actually surprised that with all the scare and with the shock and everything, what you are capable of, what decisions you're capable of making. But I made the decision that they were going to remove the whole breast. So I said, whatever happens in one side. I know that from studying physiology and all that kind of thing. I kind of know that whatever happens on your one side is mirrored to the other side. It will probably happen on the other side. Double mastectomy, get rid of both breasts, and we take it from there. And then you keep struggling with that question, and you think about how can this happen when we are healthy, and when you start connecting, like I said before, the menopause. Was it the menopause, and was it me being depressed? And I have all these questions for the doctors, and there are no real answers. So for me, ever since, it took a while to digest this, and I had a couple of years where I wasn't really ready to talk so much about it because I was so scared myself. It has taken a really long time to not being so scared to share this, because we are, like, in our generation, and we are all these fitness women. I see them on your podcast, and I see them everywhere. We think that we are healthy, and there are no signs.
Yeah.
And we need to listen to our bodies, and just the tiniest thing, because we know our bodies. That's why we can do all what we can do, and we eat the way we eat or whatever. But we need to listen to those signs, and then we need to go and get our checkups.
Yeah. So I just want to sort of interrupt you here, because I've learned a few things before talking to you today. And one of those things stands out for me. It was Dr. Rebecca Lewis, episode 18 on HRT, the benefits of HRT, because there's been a really bad rap for a long time about women taking HRT will increase the risk of breast cancer. And actually, that's completely not true. So when you talk about a woman like yourself, and I know you, Lisbeth, you are so fit, so healthy. You really take care of yourself. You acknowledge your stress. You practice yoga. You do meditation. I mean, you do all of these things, and you were doing a lot of that even well before what happened to you. And then and so why would someone like me get breast cancer, right?
Yeah.
You know what it is? Dr. Rebecca made it really clear to me. It was like, it's just like a car accident.
Yeah.
Like, you're the 1 in 7 person that had the car accident. You're the one. It doesn't matter how you live, there will be the 1 in 7 risk. And so therefore, the most important thing that you said is, even if you think you're the healthiest person on the block, you have to get your checkups. You have to be consistent, especially when we get to this 40 plus at least. You know, I even know women that are younger than 40 that have gone through breast cancer. So, you know, maybe 35, I don't know what age. I'm not going to be a doctor and say, hey, look, this is the time that you need to start. But it's become really apparent to me that that is the most important thing we can do in our self-care regimen, is to just have your regular appointments.
Yeah. And I think that it's such a cliche, it's a classic, as women, as mothers, everybody else comes first. So whenever you're sick, you can, I'm just tired. That'll be fine. I'll get to bed early, or I'll be fine tomorrow, or whatever. So you don't take that time. You don't make that a priority. And also, I have friends. I will say, when that happened to me, a lot of my friends secretly at that time, they didn't tell, but they rushed out and got their mammograms done. And I've had, even I have had a couple of friends, and I still try to motivate them and push them. They say, no, no, I don't dare. I don't dare to go and get my test because I'm afraid. I'm afraid for the answers. And when you're in your 50s, when you're 50 years old, go and get a checkup. There won't be something, there will always be something that is not. And it's nothing to be scared of. This is a chance to save your life. I mean, I would not be sitting here if or maybe, but in a different state, maybe if I hadn't gone and got that. You want to know, that's my message. And it's nobody's fault. It's not your fault. You didn't do, I think we tend to turn things inwards, and we ask ourselves, what did I do? What did I do wrong? I thought a lot about me being, and it's probably emptiness syndrome. And I was like, yeah, that adds stress adds to cancer, the risk of cancer. And I was like, I'll try not to think too much about that. And I'm born a positive person. So how could that happen to me? And it is like you said, you can overthink these things, and it might not do you any good anyway. So get checked, and things happen, but you want to know. And when you know, you can do something about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the key message here.
Yeah.
And then, so you went through the treatment, you had the double mastectomy. So what was your recovery time, and what were some of the things you were thinking as you were going through that?
First of all, I will say, and that could be controversial. I know everybody makes their own decisions, and I chose a double mastectomy. I think now afterwards, it was very important to me at that time as well. I did not want to wake up looking sick. I could not face my disease like that. I was like, no, 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 no. I want this to go away. And my doctors, I was a very scared patient. I was like one of these, I was constantly shaking. And I think for me, it was very important to wake up and not having to, they kept saying to me, oh, on Friday, on next Friday, you'll be cancer-free, you'll be cancer-free. And I'm like, cancer-free? Oh yeah, they're taking it out. So I said, yeah, do the reconstruction at the same time. So at least I don't want to wake up and look, I would look all similar, or whatever. And that was one thing. And I think that helps. And of course, being healthy in the first place. I mean, you come from a healthy state. And then you also take care of yourself, like the feel good. You have to be able to feel as good, the best you can. And then you wake up, and from then on, you're like, okay, one step forward every day. The surgery was very, very long, took many hours. So my recovery was a bit tough. I would say it was tough. I got home with all those things, and I was trying to walk. I could walk to my gate and back, and that's a few meters. I could walk. I would basically sit on the couch every day. I would try to walk a little bit longer to make, just feel the little achievement here. And I also had getting a double mastectomy. Getting that, first of all, is no joke. It takes a long, long, long time. And my drains, unfortunately, one fell out. So I had this lump of water in my back. They take one of the muscles here, the dorsey, one of the smaller, and wrap around for the blood flow, and on that side where you had the cancer. And that also was a mess. Every week, every 2 days to start with, all this water that collected in my bag. And so it was but I think the spirit to, I'm going to get well, I'm going to get well. And my doctors would say, you're one of those patients that you were well to begin with, you were healthy to begin with. You will recover faster, and you will be healthy. And I held on to their words. And yeah, so it took a long time, and I had to drop tennis for quite half a year, I think, because of the breasts, and also it was sore, and I did a lot of meditation and slowly started more yoga as well, long walks. So I think the whole meditative thing kicked in for me at that time. I realized that my life was also, run fast, win matches, achieve. I'm a competitive nature, child is competitive in a good way. But all that kind of, I started walking. I'd never walked before. I walked and I looked up at trees because I couldn't run. And I listened to the birds, and I live in a beautiful place. I have a beautiful park to walk in, and I started appreciating those things. And I also started appreciating a lot of other things that I was sort of, I think just the pace was too fast. Everything was too fast. So I managed to slow down. And the interesting part is, if afterwards, when you start learning about menopause and all these kind of things and what you should do and what you should not do, I realized this is probably what I should have been doing, before as well. Like,
yeah, sure. It's always, but then the problem is that no one tells us. Like,
no, and
period talk at 10, but no one's giving you the menopause talk at 35.
And ironically, when they started investigating, when they start looking into then you start doing all the tests, and they look at your blood, and I was not in menopause.
Right.
Contrary, I had way too many estrogens. The estrogens was just having a ball, and that went really, really wrong. And so I had eggs, and I wasn't menopausal. I didn't have those symptoms. That was not why I was maybe sad and depressed and all that. And they had a really hard time in my recovery and in my treatment. I was lucky that my cancer was early enough that it hadn't spread to the lymph nodes. So I didn't have to go through chemo, but I had to go through a lot of medication, and they had to try 3 different kind of medication to bring me into menopause. I refused to go to menopause for some reason. And that have taken 3 years before. So I had to go through a lot of tests, and I had to keep an eye on everything else in my body. So the medication, of course, gave me the side effects. And when people are talking about the menopause, so what are your experience? I have experienced it all. And because they wanted to get me they wanted to get me into that state really, really quickly. So full on, and yeah. That has been a bit tough too. But I will say, given the second chance of life, I mean, I think most people that have been into traumas and thinking about death in that way, it's probably easier, or maybe you accept it, you accept it and you deal with it.
Yeah. And one of the things that I remember when we sort of got to talking and chatting and stuff was it post surgery, like once you've recovered, you picked up yoga teacher training?
I did. I will say that what I did was I took a lot of workshops. I did a lot of, I did smaller courses, but I was supposed to go to Bali and do the 200 hours yoga teacher training, and I'm still waiting to do that. So I'm still waiting for the paper. But I think I've done yoga for 12, 13 years, maybe. And in these different kinds, I've trained with different kinds, and I love it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's with so many things, you have to try it, or you have to do it, stick with it. Because I started when I was doing fast sport, and I had a friend of mine said, and she was a yogi, she said, you need to do this, Lisbeth, trust me, you need to do this in order to be able to continue doing what you're doing and what you love doing. And then I said, oh yeah, I'll give it. And it turned out to be very good for my body, and I experienced it's good for my body. And funny enough, I mean, it actually makes you stronger.
Yeah, for sure. And probably one of the highlights for me before I left Malaysia was spending time with you in the bar studio. And I had quite feels when I talk about this. Like both look at us, we're both like, because I think what was really awesome was like it felt like a full circle for both of us in ways.
Yeah.
In the dance studio, and we went through this fitness journey, and we ended up back in a dance/fitness studio together teaching bar.
Yeah, no, I know.
You inspire me so much that you would block out any thoughts of I don't think I can do this, whatever, for whatever reason, and just rock up and give it a shot. And you just blow me away when you do that. That attitude is so inspiring to me, and you did so well. And what was really, really special is you and your daughter would team teach.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's also something we share. First of all, I will say, I think we've got that love for dance, and we got that child inside us, and then we have this attitude, who cares? I'm going to do this because I have fun with it. And then we go in there, and I find that same spirited person in you, and like, yeah, and there we are among the youngsters, and then there are also the older women there are a couple of them, they have sneaked in and they think, oh, what is this? And they look at us. And I think that's also why I don't care, in the sense that I think it's actually important that we are there and we stay there, because we should invite everybody in, and people should see that, oh, you can be 40 or you can be 50, you can still have fun, you can still go do whatever you want. So that was really, it was so, I mean, it's like finding a crazy sister that does
thinking the same thing.
the same thing. Yeah.
On this podcast now is just actually, they're the fly on the wall to you and I having a good catch up and a reminisce.
Yeah.
The easiest episode ever.
No, but it's so much fun. And I also think another thing that we share is that we have daughters, young daughters, teenagers. Mine is 20 now, but with a love of dance.
Yeah.
And so I got to, because of the COVID and the pandemic, my daughter was here at the time, and I got to share this with her. And she was like, saw a side of mom that she probably hadn't seen. The same, I'm mom and being the wise one and blah blah blah, and we're very close and very connected. But I think she might have seen the side that, whoa, she can still do this. Whoa.
Yeah, she still got it.
And she was also inspiring me to. She said, "You can do this, mom. Of course you can do this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I want to." And I'm so. I mean, it just shows that. Why holding back? If you have a passion for something, or go for it. And then you find someone, and you have also finding your people. See, that's another thing. I think it's important here that once you get wiser, you also get more picky. You choose your people. So you choose the people that makes you happy, the people you can share something with, or that just makes you feel good as well, and you feel you can contribute with something. So going in a bar studio and teach classes is not only because I want to have fun, but I also want to give. I want to give to people, so they can see, what, we approach whatever age, it doesn't matter. You can still, have fun, and it's important to stay fit at the same time. Don't give up. Whatever life throws at you, don't give up. You have that thing. It's even in the COVID times now, and with whatever is going on here. If you have something that makes you feel happy, something that makes you feel good physically, mentally, inside, we're very lucky that we have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and our daughters are kind of following through our footsteps, but in their own journey as well. Jazz is already, I know Amanda is based in Bali now, and she's doing so beautifully with her yoga. I can see her all over Instagram. I follow your daughter on Instagram. She's like an Instagram yogi person, which is awesome because that is their journey, that is their life, that is their way of reaching out to people. Yes. And same thing with my daughter. She chooses yoga over any other types of exercise to stay well. And I think it's beautiful that our girls have chosen something that's not only good for their body, which is when you and I started.
Yes.
Back in aerobics, it's all about doing something good for your body.
Yeah.
They're choosing to do something good for their body and mind and emotional state. So they're leading this conversation, our daughters, in what is mental wellness? What does that look like? And what is body confidence? It's not about body shape anymore. It's about, this is my body and this is how I want to be strong in my mind and my body. And our girls embrace it, and I am so proud of them.
This is so amazing, and I think this is a generation that is going to change a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm happy that I could be an inspiration for her, but she can. We look at our daughters now, and we look at them and we say, "Wow, you are going to go out there, and you're already doing amazing things."
Yeah.
And instead of focusing too much, I think that's important too. Instead of focusing too much to be the first one across the line, or to be the fittest, or to also just focus on living the best life you can. Be healthy, and if you are healthy and doing the right things, I know you've been talking about that with the different experts as well. You feel empowered, you feel good, and you wake up in the morning and you have a good feeling. To me, one of the important things is that I kept living a healthy diet, and I've gone more and more towards the plant-based diet now for the last 2-3 years, almost 100%. And oh my God, I got the energy back. And I felt like, of course, I'm not, 100%. I'm relaxed. I would say anything or everything in moderation. I eat chocolate. I drink wine. I drink coffee. But everything in moderation, because I come from a place where I think that I will celebrate life. I got life. I got yes. So I'm not going to say no to a glass of red wine. I'm not going to say no to the chocolate, but it's everything in moderation. And then the empowerment that comes with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about empowerment, this is sort of like my last question for our conversation. Today, where you're at today, and I know that you're in and out of lockdown in Malaysia, but I know that doesn't affect your mind. What kind of things do you do today that make you feel sexy, or that give you your mojo, that you get up every day and you inspire people like me? So yeah, what makes you feel sexy?
If you take it on the exterior, if we just start very light, I think it's different from everyone. But back to the mastectomy and the surgery, I think it's important to me to feel good about myself. So I want to feel well, but I also want to do like self-care. I like to glam up a little bit. Why not? Whatever. Have fun with your fashion. Have fun with your hair, or with, well, there's not much we can do at the moment with the hair situation, but but I care about my appearance but in a creative way, or having fun with it, and I'm not ashamed of it. And then, of course, like I said before, I think for me to live a healthy life, like eat healthy, but have fun. Don't forget the fun part, because you can easily get bored. I mean, who wants to hang out with a person that just sits with a glass of water or whatever and wish that they could join a glass of wine or not? You have to be that. Yeah, I think that the positive mindset, being young at heart, or whatever you call it, and don't let things throw you off too much. Maybe the child that is within us, of course, it gives you, I don't know, sexy is a funny word, because when you say sexy, it's like, oh yeah, I think I'm something special. But sexy is...
I think where I go with it is like, what helps you retain your mojo, your best, right? And so I think sexy, yeah, people go, what? So like sex? I've got those conversations coming up, but
no, and I know with being women, we are not always, I think it's getting much, much better, being supportive of each other. Like, if you love to dress up, or you love your fashion, or you love to whatever that is, good for you. You show up with your eyelash extensions or whatever, good for you. If that makes you happy. If you say, do you have them? I can't. I don't have it.
I do. Yeah, I do. But you can't, because the shops are shut right now. So yeah.
But that's the thing. And then there's the other thing, like, find a routine. See, find a fitness routine, or find an exercise. That has been my whole life, and yours as well. Find something that you have fun with. Don't do it because you have to do it. You must do it. Find something that makes you, enjoy what you're doing, and whatever that is. And also mix up your routine. So don't do the same thing every day, because then it will get bored. So it's sort of live the best life you can in any aspects, and don't let your age stop you. It's almost like stop thinking about how old you are. It's just about go out there every morning and be you.
For sure. So, Lisbeth, like I feel like I've just had a massive injection of life and love from this conversation. You are and will continue to inspire me to live my best life. I'm so grateful that the listeners and the viewers are going to be able to meet you and listen to your story, because I know it's so uplifting, and I'm so grateful. Love you, babe.
Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I get to see your face today. I miss you a lot, Tracy. I know you will come. I know you will come over here and we'll be dancing again.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So that will happen. That will happen. Yeah.